Hey guys, welcome to episode 9. This is Two Girls Chirping. I'm Lauren.
I'm Abby. We're recording
And
in advance because the holidays.
the holidays, I work
Oh,
Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I work all the holidays. I'm so excited about that. So we're going to film in advance. Okay, who are we talking about today?
we are talking about the Anaheim Ducks
Quack,
and the
quack.
Vancouver Canucks. A little.
A little Christmas rhyme for you.
Tis the season.
Tis the season. Tis the damn season.
Yeah. The Anaheim Ducks, I'm saying, I literally said verbatim, it's giving Haas.
Please
Yeah.
expand.
Nothing really special, but nothing really bad. They have funny, good vibes, but not great performance. I also said that them winning their Stanley Cup, because spoiler alert, they've won one Stanley Cup.
Okay.
Them winning their Stanley Cup was the equivalent to Kevin Magnuson being on pole that one time in a Haas.
It was glorious.
Yeah. Nobody saw it coming, but it happened. And
Nobody.
nobody was upset at it either.
Didn't have it on my bingo card. Everyone rejoiced. There was
Yeah.
peace among the land.
Yeah. Everybody slept peacefully that night, knowing that K-Mag was on pole. I also said, alternatively, we're going to talk about one player, Teemu Selanne. We'll talk so much about him, actually, in this episode. But them trading Teemu Selanne was the equivalent of Haas firing Gunther Steiner. In my opinion, it made me feel the same.
Bad move.
It made me feel the same way on both occasions.
I mean, on one end, I was like, release Gunter. Like,
Let
My
him
man-
go somewhere else.
my man deserves to feel more joy than
Yes.
this. But I also was like, who do you think you are
Yeah.
to fire Gunter Steiner? What gave you the right, Gene?
America's sweetheart, if you will.
Europe's sweetheart, if you
Yeah,
are nasty
my
with
sweetheart.
it now. My sweetheart, king of my heart.
We're also going to talk about this one guy, Trevor Zegras, who currently plays for the team. In my opinion, he is like their Kevin Magnuson as well. Only for this reason. I said they love him with their whole hearts, but also like simultaneously loathe him.
Yeah, that's a very apt way to describe how Haas feels about Kevin.
Like when I think about Anaheim, I think about Trevor Zegras. Same thing with Haas, but like no one's really doing much of anything.
That's so sad. It's very Haas of them. Isn't that one of the big three that is, hang on, let's see how the memory works. Cole Caulfield. Okay, Cole Caulfield.
Sweet baby Cole.
He's such a cutie pie. And Jack Hughes. Yes.
Yeah, the
and
three
he's
of
the
them.
one that lived with them.
Yes,
for a while.
he lived with the Hughes family. Okay, the Anaheim Ducks were founded in 1993,
Finally.
at the same time as the Florida Panthers.
A 90s baby.
If
It's
you
been a while.
remember correctly, or if you remember, period, the Senators were founded in 1992. They were brought back in 1992, let me rephrase, and Anaheim offered them money. And
I
they're
do
like,
recall.
Oh, we're not.
They didn't want to be sugar babied, and I told them that they should have been sugar babied.
Yeah, correct. So this was the following year the Anaheim Ducks are founded. Their current owners are Henry and Susan Samueli, who are actually married to each other.
I figured.
They just have equal stake. And their general manager is Pat Furbeek, and current coach is Greg Cronin. They've won one Stanley Cup in 2007. They have 2 conference championships, 2003 and 2007, and 6 division championships, 2007, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17.
Oh, so they kind of did the dang thing for a couple years there.
Yeah, they did. They were founded by Walt Disney.
What?
Yes. Well, let me rephrase. They were founded by Walt Disney Company.
It's like, I thought he passed.
He had. His company did not.
Alive and well.
They were located just outside of Disneyland, too, which helped a lot with getting fans initially.
Is Anaheim in Florida or is it in California?
California.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. I just get confused. I know we've been to Disney in Florida a couple times.
Yes. That's Disney World that we go to in Florida. This is Disneyland. So have you ever heard of the movie The Mighty Ducks?
If it's not the one with Kurt Russell screaming at them that they are not real hockey players, then no, I haven't. I think they were playing like Russia or something.
Nope.
Or the Soviet Union at the time.
That's The Miracle.
Then no, I have not seen
That's
The Mighty Ducks.
such a good movie, actually. The Mighty Ducks, I didn't figure that you had because it was pre our childhood. The basis of the movie is an attorney is pulled over for drunk driving and given 500 hours of community service via coaching a peewee hockey team. However, said attorney used to play hockey and specifically played for this peewee team, but he quit after being embarrassed for missing a penalty shot. Together, they become a good team and work through his childhood trauma. Essentially, paraphrasing.
It sounds like every baby that was born in the 90s having to gentle parent their parents and work them through their trauma.
Yeah. And they won with a penalty shot against the team that he lost his penalty shot to, of course. People loved that movie. They made 3 after it.
Oh, so they did like Brother Bear and Lion King.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Masterpieces.
But it's live action. Like, it's real people. The team was like the mighty... It's real actors.
Not me thinking this whole time it's animated.
Okay, I thought it was too, though. No, it's real actors. I just
assumed it was animated. It's a Disney film from the 90s.
Yeah, no, it's real actors. The team is just called the Mighty Ducks.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so when this team was founded, their name was the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. The way I see it, it was an extension of Disneyland.
That is adorable.
Yeah. Their main focus was drafting defensive players.
Good call.
You can't have good offense without a good defense.
You gotta have a good goaltender, though.
Period. And they actually had the lowest payroll in the NHL, which is so strange to me because Walt Disney Company, they're not hurting for money. They finished their first season 33-46-5.
That's not that bad for a first season.
It's really not.
It's almost half and half.
They had 41 home games. They sold out 27 of those.
Good
which
for
is
them.
pretty good.
That's
and
a good place to land.
Specifically, their last 25 home games were sold out. So they really gained that momentum towards the end of their season, which was good. They also, in their first season, they sold the most merch out of any NHL team that season. And it's partially due to Disneyland started carrying their jerseys.
Isn't that funny?
Crazy. So their first ever draft pick, Paul Kariya. You're going to hear his name a lot. You're also going to hear Teemu Selanne so much. Paul Kariya, first ever draft pick, massive fan favorite, face of the team for many years.
Defenseman?
No, forward. He was drafted in 1993. He didn't begin play until 1994. But in his rookie season, he scored 18 goals and 21 assists.
Yes,
he had
sir.
a 39 point in his rookie season.
Good job.
Mm-hmm.
A+.
Their number one line became Paul Kariya, Teemu Selanne, and Steve Rushin. That line didn't form until like their second or third season, really. After they finally drafted players to help Paul out, Steve Rushin actually stated to the press, Paul had a lot of pressure. He single-handedly won some games for us this year. Now we have Teemu and I. There's no way everybody can just key in on Paul.
So we got to help him out.
Basically being like, we got to help.
He needs support.
They finished just short out of the playoffs by 1 point.
Ugh.
Paul actually became captain ahead of the 96-97 season.
Saw that coming.
Yeah, they made the playoffs for the first time in franchise history, won the first round against Phoenix in a Game 7 overtime.
Ooh, I love an overtime.
Yeah, before playing the Red Wings in round 2. The Red Wings actually won the cup that year.
Go Detroit.
So they were eliminated in round 2, but...
we still went.
Yeah, hey. In the postseason, Ron Wilson, who was their head coach, was fired after telling the media that he would prefer to coach for the Capitals. So, obviously, Anaheim fired him.
Why would you say that?
I don't know. But the Capitals did hire him to be their head coach. So,
I mean, I don't like it. It's not very classy.
never forget the initial coach of the Penguins saying, I'd rather find out my wife is cheating on me than to keep losing like this. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that was so iconic.
Yeah. In 1997-98, Paul Kariya was injured. He also had some contract disputes, so he didn't play the first 32 games of the season because of contract disputes.
He's Paul Kariya. What are you doing?
I don't know. What are you doing? And then he came back. He played for 12 games before suffering a season-ending concussion.
Oh, no.
Yeah, by being cross-checked in the face by a Blackhawks player.
Sounds like something they would do.
And they missed the playoffs. We'll fast forward through some. Made the playoffs in 99, lost in round 1 by the Red Wings, who would win the cup. They missed the playoffs in 2000. They would go on to miss the playoffs for 3 more years. 2001, the Korea Timu line was struggling, and the team actually finished last in the conference.
Ugh.
Timu was traded. The head coach was fired. Korea was struggling far more without Timu. 2003 season, they had another new head coach, Mike Babcock, who actually won a Stanley Cup with the Red Wings.
They brought in the competition.
Here's my beef with Mike Babcock, though.
Tell me.
And this is just completely off notes, he has a history of players, like, reporting him for being toxic and petty.
Leave.
But, like, he continues to get hired places. They made the playoffs in 2003, won the conference title. They actually made the finals as well before losing to New Jersey. Rod Niedermeyer, who was a player for Anaheim at the time, was playing against Scott Niedermeyer, his brother, that played for the New Jersey Devils. So that was kind of cute for the Cup.
I love how many families
There's
play
so
in
many. There's so many.
these various teams. I freaking love it. So cute.
In game 6 of that series, actually, Korea was knocked out from a dirty hit.
He just can't catch a freaking break.
He went back to the room to be assessed. 15 minutes later, he came back on ice and scored the game-winning goal.
I just think about that Seth Jarvis post-game interview where he got like hit in the face or something and his eye was swollen and he was bleeding.
Yeah.
And he scored a goal and he was like, I didn't even know that it went in. Like, I couldn't see what was happening.
Yeah, I
just
couldn't
was
see.
shooting.
It was left eye dominant.
Oh my gosh.
In the offseason, Paul Kariya actually became an unrestricted free agent and left for Colorado.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was due to he wanted $10 million from Anaheim, and the GM was like, this is a direct quote from the general manager. We understand that he's an important player to the franchise, but when you're trying to build a team, it's hard to have one player at $10 million when your payroll is in the mid to low range. Their payroll was $40 million at the time. So that's taking up 1/4. So I feel like I
think that's so fair. And also,
so
no disrespect, but y'all aren't really doing that much.
Mm-mm. And he's a great player.
If I don't know. I totally get where the coach is coming from with that. I also get where he's coming from. Like, it's basically just me out here leading the friggin' blind.
Also, you know who did play for Colorado at this time?
Nope.
Timu Solani. So they got reunited.
Who was that team from last week? Who was the player on the team that got traded to, I don't think it was the Red Wings.
Patrick Kane. It was the Red Wings. Patrick Kane and DeBrincat.
Yeah.
In this trade, or in this move, they did ultimately suffer poor attendance and they missed the playoffs. In 2005, Disney wanted to sell the team. Susan Samueli and her husband Henry actually co-founded Broadcom. They bought the team and they actually pledged to keep the team in Anaheim.
I think that's a good move.
I think it is too. They made Brian Burke, who was the former general manager and president for the Canucks. They made him general manager and executive vice president. They made Randy Carlyle replace Mike Babcock for head coach.
Bye.
Who actually went back to the Red Wings. They brought back Timu Solani. They signed Scott Niedermeyer, Rob's brother. So the two brothers played there. They signed him to a 4-year deal. He actually played there until 2010 when he retired. His brother, Rob, left in 2009 to go play for a different team and ultimately retired that season as well.
So Hughes' brother did?
Yeah, they did.
They didn't bring back Paul Kariya?
No, he doesn't, period. Sorry.
Said, I'm not running back to my toxic ex.
Mm-mm. And they had a pretty rough start to the 2005-2006 season. As you can expect with new owners, a bunch of things changing around. But they did make the playoffs and the conference finals.
Look at them go.
They lost ultimately to Edmonton, though, in the conference finals.
I mean, that's the best performance they've done so far. Well, in years.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. It was a good turnaround, especially to have new owners, a new coach, a new general manager.
A new hope emerges.
In the 2006-2007 season, they decided to fully lean into everything changing. They changed their name from the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim to the Anaheim Ducks.
I forgot that was still their name. Can you imagine? So what team do you play for? The Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. Okay.
Yeah. No, they changed their name from the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim to the Anaheim Ducks.
Good call.
They introduced a new logo and team colors. The arena was actually renamed because their majority sponsor changed. It was renamed to the Honda Center. Previously, it was Arrowhead Pond of Anaheim.
They want you to know you're in Anaheim.
Yeah, they do.
So that's my property.
Yeah, they do. And they became the favorite to win the Stanley Cup that season. They went undefeated for the first 16 games. They broke numerous scoring records and finished the regular season with 110 points, the first 100-point season in franchise history.
Sometimes you just gotta get rid of it all, do a little sage, and try again.
Yeah, they won the division title. In the conference quarterfinals, they beat Minnesota 4-1. In the semifinals, they beat Vancouver 4-1. They then beat the Red Wings in the conference finals to win the conference championship as well, which put them in the Stanley Cup finals. They beat the Ottawa Senators in the finals to win the Stanley Cup at home, their first and only Stanley Cup.
Look at them freaking go.
Yeah.
And then it's beautiful that they beat Ottawa, who didn't want to go to Anaheim to play for them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, that's fine. We'll just
do this.
We'll just take this little Stanley Cup with us. Like, don't worry about it. You stay over there, have a blast. We'll be yonder in these here parts.
Beating you for a Stanley Cup.
With our Stanley Cup.
Yeah. They became the first California team to win the Stanley Cup since 1925.
California, here we come. Right back where we started from.
California! Also in 2007, in the postseason after their Stanley Cup win, Solani and Scott Niedermayer were contemplating retiring. They've been here for a while.
Yeah, they're tired. Boss.
They're tired of this grandpa. And because of that, the team proactively traded and got a bunch of forwards, people that they thought would be good replacements for the two. They didn't. Neither one of them ended up retiring, but it did take forever because neither one of them played up until December or January.
Why?
They were just contemplating retirement, and so they didn't. I think both of their contracts were up, and while they were figuring out if they wanted to retire or not, they couldn't play because they didn't have a contract. When they decided they wanted to, they signed new ones.
So are they like going to the games and just like sitting there contemplating, or like?
No, I picture them at home in a chair, like up against a window, just looking out at life, contemplating.
To retire or not to retire.
They're waiting on a bird to come and sit on the windowsill and be like,
retire!
Or not. Yeah, so the team struggled without the two of them. They ultimately came back in December or January, depending on which one. And the team did make the playoffs after they came back.
They came back to save them one last time.
Yeah, they did. They did lose in the quarterfinals of playoffs to the Dallas Stars.
They wouldn't have made it without them.
No, not at all. The following season, Burke resigned as general manager to go to Toronto to be their general manager, and Bob Murray replaced him. Again, the team struggled pretty bad in the beginning before going on a hot streak to make it to the playoffs. They defeated the Sharks in round 1 before losing in round 2 to the Red Wings. Rob Niedermayer left to go to New Jersey. He became a free agent.
New Jersey.
He played there for a year before retiring as well. They failed to make the playoffs in the 2009-2010 season. Scott Niedermayer retired officially. It wasn't until 2012 when they finally made the playoffs again. Also in the 2012 season, their head coach was fired and replaced again.
They're very Haas.
Yeah.
It's like when they don't have their Kevin Magnuson, they can't do anything.
Anything. Not a thing. At all. Fast forward to 2013. They're finally ready to do something.
Proud of them.
They make the playoffs for the 2013 season, losing in round 1. They make the playoffs the next season as well with a home record of 20-0-2.
Okay, Divas.
Yes. And a total of 116 points that season.
Okay.
Also, that season, they had a rookie goaltender, Frederik Andersen.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's familiar.
Hey,
I think
Diva.
I've heard of
I
him.
think I know that diva.
It sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
It sounds like he was excellent. Dare I say, his career will follow that. He will be excellent.
He wasn't excellent with them, I will say.
They're terrible, though.
Yeah. They did win the division title that year, made the conference finals as well, before losing to the LA Kings, their in-state rival. They made the playoffs in 2015 as well for the 3rd season straight, 4th season straight in 2016, losing in round 1 again. Freddie Andersen was traded. Boo. The head coach was fired and replaced with Randy Carlisle, who was the former head coach, if you remember.
Bringing them back.
Yes. And in 2017, they finally advanced to the conference finals, winning a Game 7 for the first time in a while. They went so long losing Game 7s. They ultimately lost the following series to the Preds. But they went. They did stuff. They did that.
We still went.
Yeah.
They're very huss. They just suck. They
have
fire people. They suck. They bring back the people that they fired.
Mm-hmm.
And then they suck less. And it's like,
yeah. No, you're so right.
yes,
though.
they fired Kevin. They were absolute trash. They bring Kevin back. All of a sudden, they're scoring points.
They're just garbage, not trash.
They're garbage instead of garbage.
Yeah.
With Kevin,
You're right, though.
garbage.
They're
Without Kevin, garbage.
Yeah.
I wish they'd bring Gunter back. I don't
Oh
know
my
that
gosh.
he'd take
I don't
Gene
think-
back. I don't want that for him. I think he seems
so.
way happier now.
100%. They officially started a rebuild in 2018.
Can't rebuild on what doesn't exist.
No, they started a build.
Started a new build.
Mm-hmm. Their head coach was fired in This rebuild, first of all, went through like 2022. Just a heads up. Honestly, I would argue it's still going on. If it's not still going on, they should revisit the concept of a rebuild.
Oh no.
Because they're not doing great. They fired their head coach a couple times. They changed general managers. They missed the playoffs. In 2021, Bob Murray, who was the general manager at this time, was actually placed on administrative leave by the Ducks. And it came out that an ongoing investigation, an internal one, was going on regarding his alleged verbal abuse of staff and players.
Get out.
That was announced on November 9th, 2021. On November 10th, he resigned. And Pat Verbeek.
Bye.
Yeah. Pat Verbeek was named general manager. He's still the general manager today. His job's in jeopardy. A lot of people think he's going to lose his job, probably. 2022-2023 season, they finished last in the league.
Are they like Lynn Ruff? What's his name?
Lindy Ruff.
Lindy Ruff, where they're chanting "Fire Lindy"?
No.
Are we at that stage, or
no? But they probably should have been.
we should escalate? Start bailing them publicly at games.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
Give
if he
him
comes
the
back,
Lindy
just say,
Ruff.
"Sorry, Pat," because that's what they did, and all was wiped clean from Lindy Ruff. Their head coach Dallas Eakins resigned during the 2022-2023 season. His personal coaching record there, so all of the games he coached, 100 wins, 147 losses, and 47 overtimes. So not great.
Not great.
No, and they
Not
actually
great at all.
They lost a lot of their star players then as well. Last
That tracks.
season their record was 27-55.
Oh no.
And they haven't made the playoffs since 2018.
Oh no.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's very Haas.
Yeah, their star player right now, or at least who the media talks about the most, Trevor Zegras. So Trevor was drafted in 2019, 9th overall. He played college hockey at Boston U before joining the Ducks in 2020. So the USA Development Program that Jack and Trevor and Cole were all a part of is in Michigan. He did move in with the Hughes family. Right now, there's a lot of trade rumors surrounding him because he clearly doesn't want to be there. He hasn't been performing at his best in the past year. The team, period, hasn't been playing well. There's been so many rumors about him going to the Devils because he'd fit in really well with their playing style, and he's already got the chemistry built up with the Hughes brothers there.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy. I actually saw, as of the 18th, Montreal put in an offer for him.
Really?
Like a trade pitch to the team, but nothing has come of it thus far.
Do you think he's just playing bad because he doesn't want to be there?
I probably would. But that would put him going to play with Cole if he did go to Montreal.
Oh, stop it. I would love that so much, actually.
Yeah.
We're good. We've got Luke and Jack over there.
They're fine.
We don't need the whole Hughes family
No.
in New Jersey. Put him with Cole. Cole needs a friend. He needs to get out of California anyways.
Yeah.
Anaheim hockey, bare minimum.
Yeah. One more thing I want to talk about. They have a lot. So when they did all the rebrand, these are just fun little notes. When they did the rebrand, the new colors, the new logo or whatever, they have a mascot, Wild Wing. People love this mascot so much that when they were doing all of this, fans petitioned for them to not change the mascot because they were going to.
It's really cute.
And they listened and they didn't change him.
Well, they went from the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim to the Anaheim Ducks. So, we didn't do that much.
No. There's a bronze statue of their mascot outside of the arena.
That is so sweet.
He's so fun. He regularly descends from the rafters for his game time entrance.
What a diva. What an icon.
One time, there was a malfunction with the rig,
No.
and he was suspended over ice for several minutes.
He said, "Hold, please. One moment."
In 1995, he attempted to jump through a, quote, wall of fire before tripping and momentarily catching on fire. It's not as extreme as it sounds, but
That's so embarrassing. I'm so sorry.
It's so Wild Wing coded though.
He is a wild one.
Yeah, he is. And that's the Anaheim Ducks.
Not impressive.
Shoot, did I not
do better? Get Trevor out of there. Let me start. Is there a petition to get Trevor out of there? Can I sign?
I don't know, but if
there's my John Hancock.
We'll leave it in the bio. Link in the description.
There's a petition to get Trevor Zegras out of Anaheim. Just
let me know.
Let us know. I'd love to get on board.
They're
very Haas. I have no expectations for Haas. On the occasion they do something great, it's like Christmas morning, but I don't expect anything from them.
Yeah.
I hope that the rebuild is successful.
The scary thing is I don't think they realize they still need to rebuild.
I'm just like, do they not have enough money? Like, what is it?
Because
the fan base seems like it's there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But they've only got one star, so.
Okay. You ready for Vancouver Canucks?
Potentially.
I am going to say their F1 equivalent is Sauber.
Like Kimi Räikkönen Sauber?
Just overall. I feel like...
Or
it's
Kick Sauber.
Well, there's Kick Sauber. It's Alfa Romeo Sauber first. It's always been Sauber. I'm just going to say that kind of lineage.
Oh, I'm thinking of Lotus Kimi Räikkönen. I'm sorry.
Räikkönen,
the Iceman, if you want to be specific.
I don't have really anything else to expand on that for.
I'm horrified. Proceed.
Well, it's not necessarily bad. They're there. They're just there. Kick Sauber has been bad because they suck. But
because the car is shit.
The car is shit. But
and they don't know what they're doing.
And also, actually, come to think of it, the drivers, they're there. They're driving, but they also...
Hang on a second. Valtteri Bottas?
Are you going to let me say what I'm going to say first?
Proceed.
Their drivers, they're there, they're racing, but they have other things outside of Formula One that are keeping them maintained.
They're also driving like a freaking cardboard box.
Yeah.
Like they're driving a shitmobile.
But Sauber used to be pretty good and consistent. And I would argue that before Kick Sauber, before this season, they were still consistent. Just like they're not winning any championships.
Okay.
So the Canucks were founded actually in 1945. We're not going to talk too much about that. They were a part of the PCHL, Pacific Coast Hockey League, and they were added to the NHL franchise in 1970 at the same time as the Sabres.
Cool.
They're owned by Canucks Sports and Entertainment. Their general manager is Patrick Alvin, and their current coach is Rick Tocchet. They have no Stanley Cups. They've gone to the finals 3 times, twice resulting in riots in Vancouver.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
We've talked about the 2011 one in the Boston Bruins episode. That one is way worse. That's crazy, actually, when I think about that. That was wild. Go listen to that episode if you want to hear about it, because I'm not really going to talk about it here since we've already discussed it. They have 3 conference championships, 82, 94, and 2011. They have 11 division championships. I'm not going to list all those. That's a lot. But they did have like a hot streak in the early 2000s, winning 7 between 2004 and 2015. They also won the division title in last season.
Okay, so they're doing some things.
They're doing some things. I think too.
I'm sad they don't have a Stanley Cup. Even freaking Anaheim's got a Stanley Cup.
Yeah. 1966. Vancouver builds a new arena because they are crossing their fingers and hoping that the NHL is going to grant them a franchise.
Please, Santa.
They were denied in 1967.
Not very cool of them.
Yeah. Rumors say that the Maple Leafs president, Stafford Smythe, people say he was bitter because he had a failed business venture in Vancouver. People also say he didn't want to split Canadian broadcasting with anybody.
That is way more likely.
Yeah. He did, however, regardless of if he was bitter or not, said the city would not get an NHL franchise in his lifetime. They did. Update. Prior to the Anaheim Ducks or the LA Kings, California had been granted an NHL franchise, the Oakland Seals. We won't talk about them in an episode at all. They sucked. They weren't good. They had major financial problems, and they wanted to move to Vancouver just to have like a restart, essentially.
So we got to get out of the U.S.
Yeah, the NHL didn't want them to move. So in a way to conveniently block them from being able to move into that arena, they told Vancouver that in the next expansion, they would get a team.
Freaking pettiness. I love it.
Yeah. So they did actually get a team 1970. In their expansion draft, they draft Pat Quinn, a defenseman who later will become general manager and head coach.
Cutesy. Love it. Keep it in the family.
Yes, absolutely.
Not keep it in the family. Keep it in the team.
Don't keep it in the family.
Don't keep it in the family.
They've missed the playoffs their first 4 years and ultimately just struggled in general.
But you're a new team.
Yeah, they sold the team to Frank Griffiths in 1974. Also, at this time, the divisions realigned, so the conference and divisions that we know now didn't happen until like 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
They realigned different divisions, and they had their first winning season under Frank Griffith's ownership. They had 38, 32, 10.
I'll take it. A win is a win.
Yes. They finished first in their division, and they made the playoffs for the very first time before losing in round 1 to the Canadiens.
Dadgummit.
Yeah. They also would go on to have another winning record and playoff performance the following season, 1976.
So they were doing some things.
Mm-hmm. They would go 16 years from then, though, until they would have another winning record. However, their conference, really their division, struggled just in general in those 16 years. So they still made the playoffs 9 times.
You just gotta be a little bit better than the next guy.
Dude, I don't know what was going on in their division, but they were all bad.
We were not having a good time.
So they still made the playoffs 9 times in those 16 years that they had losing records.
That is so funny.
I think so too.
So we might be bad, but we are not the worst.
But I will say, in 7 years, they had 4 different captains.
Oh, no.
Yes, their general manager was also replaced in this time period.
Of course.
But they did acquire some core players that would help them in coming seasons and ultimately to any of the success that they had in the 80s. They finally made the playoffs again in 1982.
I'm so proud of them.
Yes. They had acquired Stan Smeel. He was made captain. He was actually captain for 8 years.
Thank God.
Which is crazy because they had 4 different ones in 7.
They said, we need to try something new. We need to try consistency.
Let's try some consistency.
We've tried chaos. Let's
work for
take
us.
that and switch it around.
Yes. They made the Stanley Cup finals that season. Previously, they had only ever gotten out in round 1 of the playoffs. So, despite having a losing record, they made the finals.
No, they didn't.
Yes.
They made the Stanley Cup finals?
Yes.
Okay, I stand with Stan.
Yeah.
That's my man.
We stand with Stan. 100%. They placed second in their division, and ultimately lost in the finals. But I'll talk about the playoffs a little bit, specifically Game 2 of the semifinals. Their interim head coach, Roger Nielsen, mockingly waved a white flag or a white towel at officials. He put it on the edge of a hockey stick and waved it in the air at the officials because he was so upset with how that game had been officiated.
Oh, that is so funny. I love that.
Every player on the bench copied it.
Oh my God, I love it. He's a trendsetter.
Yes. In the next game, things started to go their way, actually, and the Canucks fans started cheering and waving white towels.
I'm obsessed.
A tradition that you can still see today that's, quote, towel power.
Towel power.
Yes.
Towel power.
They ultimately lost to the Rangers.
Ugh.
For the rest of the 80s, they would make the playoffs 4 times, losing in round 1 each time. And they began another rebuild in 1987.
Fair enough.
Pat Quinn, who was a former Canuck, became general manager. They traded a lot of core veterans who were just out of their prime and hoped that they could draft or acquire some younger players that would be there for more long term. And in 1989, they drafted Pavel Bure. This draft was actually pretty controversial because the only reason they were able to draft him was because a lot of people thought he was ineligible for the draft. So they didn't even attempt because they didn't realize that he was eligible. How? Otherwise, he would have gone probably first pick.
How does that happen?
It was just some miscues by the NHL. They actually spent a long time after that draft trying to prove that he was eligible. He ultimately was, and so they got to draft him. They got to keep him.
That's
crazy, right?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the 1990s, early on, Stan Smeel retired. He retired the all-time leader in games played, goals, assists, and points.
Thank you. The man you are.
The man he is. His jersey is obviously retired. And this was in the era of the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames. However, those two teams started to struggle. So what did the Canucks do? They thrived.
Yes.
They won their first division title in 17 years in 1992. They also had their first winning season since 1976. Stan Smeel became assistant coach.
I love it.
His jersey was retired, and they made the playoffs.
I freaking love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love when they bring a good player into their team because it just shows that you have common sense.
Yeah, I
really
really like it.
To me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, he already knows the program. He knows the system. He's already respected in the franchise.
It worked for him. Yeah.
Yes.
100%. I agree.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. And in the following season, Pavel Bure emerged as their number 1 superstar player.
Get it, Pavel.
He had back-to-back 60-goal seasons.
Amazing.
A king. I put actually for my notes on the 93-94 season, Pavel Bure carried this team to playoffs.
He said, get on my back.
He scored 49 goals in the last 51 games of this season.
Holy crap.
Yes.
Sir.
They upset Dallas and Toronto, making it to the finals against the Rangers once again before losing. It was a Game 7 held at Madison Square Garden. Yeah, their captain at the time was Lyndon. He was playing with cracked ribs, which is crazy. But I think about
I've seen grown men cry about that.
I think about how PK Subban said in the playoffs, you're not playing hurt, you're playing injured and you want to.
Yeah.
And they lost the final game 3-2. You want to know what happened in Vancouver?
I'm terrified.
After a Game 7 loss in the Stanley Cup Finals.
I think I've seen this before.
Yeah, they rioted.
Oh my gosh.
I will say it wasn't as bad as the 2011.
I don't know how it could have gotten much worse than that. So
an estimated 50 to 70,000 fans had gathered in downtown Vancouver to watch the game. The riot, it didn't ensue directly after the loss. Everybody was downtown drinking, as you do. The whole thing was kicked off. A man fell from a telephone pole into the crowd below him.
Okay.
Right? And police officers who were on bikes were trying to get paramedics to him.
Yeah.
Through all of this crowd. A bystander tried to steal one of the cops' bikes from him, which then all of the police were like, just go home, basically, to everybody. They were like, get out of here, go home. We're not doing this. A riot basically just erupted. Tear gas was fired into the crowd and people started running everywhere.
Oh.
Windows of storefronts were broken, which then caused tear gas to leak into those stores as well.
Oh, no.
The tear gas even wafted up. It was surrounded by a bunch of apartments.
Oh,
so
no.
So it wafted into the open windows of apartments nearby. And St. Paul's Hospital actually placed guards outside of their hospital, turning away tear gas victims, being like, there's nothing we can do for them. They would put bowls of water out on the sidewalk for you to wash your eyes out with.
I mean, they probably didn't have the staff. Like, you can't let your hospital be overrun.
That's fair. That's true.
Like, there's so much stuff that can go wrong. Like, you have to actually. We have police. Well, first of all, we're the U.S., so we have police everywhere. We have plenty of police in our hospital.
Yeah. They had an estimated $1.1 billion in damage. Only one critically injured, and it was this guy, Ryan Burnett, who was shot in the head with a plastic bullet by police.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. It resulted in a 4-week coma and permanent brain damage.
Yeah, well.
He sued both the police and the city.
That's fair.
For excessive force.
Agreed.
And was ultimately found 75% liable for his injuries, and the case was dismissed. In the 6 years following that Stanley Cup loss, they would not have a single winning season. They missed the playoffs 4 consecutive times from 96 to 2000. Oh, also in this time, they almost, I don't know why, multiple things pointed out, they almost signed Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, dang it. Why didn't we?
I don't know. Well, actually, I do know. It got to a point in contract negotiations that they were just tired and they gave him an ultimatum. And he was like, nope, I don't do ultimatums.
I mean, he was a Rangers guy, so
he's Wayne Gretzky, so like...
He was probably fucking with him the whole time.
If you can't give Wayne Gretzky what he wants, he's not coming.
And that's his right.
That is his right, and I actually stand by it.
I'm just like, what did you want? What did you want that was so crazy?
Yeah, probably money.
Well, you gotta be willing to pay Wayne Gretzky what he deserves.
Yeah. They did, however, in this time period, sign Todd Bertuzzi and Brian McCabe. They both became key players for this team. And for the 97-98 season, Brian Burke was named general manager. He was actually the former vice president of the NHL.
Oh, a big dog. That's why they couldn't afford Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, literally.
Lord.
Pavel Bure requested a trade and actually he just wouldn't play until they traded him in January.
That's my diva.
Here's why I thought that you would recognize that name. He played for Florida during Florida's like big era. So he was traded to Florida. They finished dead last in their conference, but they were able to draft Daniel and Henrik Sedin, identical twins.
I love it.
In 99. A lot of the credit for being able to draft both of them was Brian Burke made so many deals to be able to get second and third overall draft picks. said literally they got up on the stage and they drafted them both at the exact same time.
That's so sweet. I love it.
And in both 2001 and 2002, they would qualify for the playoffs again, becoming regular contenders for division titles for many years.
They're not bad.
No, but they're not like, oh my God, they're so great.
No, they're not top of the field.
No.
Top of the grid or anything.
No, but I would say
they're in the middle, I would say.
They're in the middle for sure. They did develop a line, the West Coast Express.
Stop it.
Todd Bertuzzi, Marcus Nosland, and Brendan Morrison became their big forward line.
The Western Express, you say?
The West Coast Express.
West Coast Express. Freaking, I love a line name.
You do.
Oh, they're chef's kiss.
Burke was able to make a lot of very valuable trades. And in the 2002-2003 season, they had a 10-game win streak, resulting in their first playoff series win because they lost in the playoffs in round 1 so many times. Their first playoff series win in 8 years.
Look at them freaking go.
Yeah.
West Coast, my favorite coast.
Here's something controversial that happened. March 2004, Ted Bertuzzi, in a game against the Colorado Avalanche, grabbed a forward from the Avalanche, Steve Moore, from behind, punched him in the back of the head, and then fell on top of him. So Colorado, Steve Moore is skating in front of him. Ted Bertuzzi, no. Ted Bertuzzi's behind him because he grabs him from behind, hits him in the back of the head. They both fall. He falls on top of him on the ice. Moore suffered 3 fractured neck vertebrae, a concussion, and facial cuts. Bertuzzi was suspended from March 2004 all the way through the beginning of the 2005-2006 season.
Oh my God.
Now you have to remember there was a season in between there that was canceled due to the NHL lockout from labor disputes.
Yes.
Moore filed lawsuits against both him and the Canucks organization.
Why did he do that? That is
so
dirty.
Just for shits and gigs.
So he sued the Vancouver Canucks,
the Canucks organization, and Ted Bertuzzi individually. Dave Nonis also took over as general manager at just 37 years old, the youngest GM in team history. They lost pretty much all momentum that they had. The West Coast Express the following season actually significantly suffered. They failed to make the playoffs. Ted Bertuzzi was sent to the Florida Panthers in exchange for 6 different people.
Sheesh.
One of which included Roberto Luongo, who was a goalie, and they had a ton of personnel changes. They won, actually, the division title, though, in the 2006-2007 season. Luongo was nominated for the Hart Memorial and Vezina trophies, and he was tied for the second most wins by an NHL goalie that season.
Look at him go.
I know.
Good job, goaltender.
They made the playoffs, lost in round 2, but they made it past round 1,
we made it to round 2.
Which is a hard thing for them to do.
We got to take our wins where we can get them. We still win.
And in the 2008 offseason, Luongo was made captain. The first time since 1947 that a goaltender was named captain of a team.
I was about to ask.
Mm-hmm. And they made the playoffs again, going to the second round, losing. In 2010, their 40th anniversary season, they finished first overall in the league for the first time, for the regular season.
Yeah, but still.
They won the President's Trophy, broke team record for the number of wins and points in a season, won 54 games and 117 points. Multiple players had career seasons. Their goalies allowed the fewest goals in the league that season.
Wow.
And they beat Chicago, Nashville, and San Jose to be able to play in the Stanley Cup finals.
Dang, we were thriving.
Yeah.
We were hydrated, skin clear, no problems.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh,
ultimately, they lost to Boston.
It happens.
We know what happened in the streets after that one, though.
Very bad.
Yes.
Very bad.
They've had, for the rest of their years, they've had a lot of ups and downs. They drafted Elias Pettersson in 2017, who came in and broke the record of points scored by a rookie with 66 points.
Pop off.
But they still didn't go to the playoffs.
He's only one man.
Mm-mm. Also, that season, Brock Boser came in. He was drafted in 2015. He didn't make his debut until 2017, though. He was drafted 23rd overall. In his rookie season, he scored 29 goals, had 55 points, and he only played 62 games. So
he did all of that in 62 games his
Yeah.
rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Brock. Pop off, sir.
He was also named, oh my gosh, Mario Lemieux.
He returned.
He was named MVP his rookie season at the NHL All-Star Games. The first rookie since Mario Lemieux to do so.
What a sweetie pie. What
Yes.
an absolute treasure.
We need to protect him, truly.
Yeah. I'm a Bonnie
Let's talk
girl,
about, they did enter a rebuild in 2021. I don't know if it's over yet. If they're saying it's over, again, it shouldn't be.
Construction might still be underway.
I think so. They're pretending it's not. Their general manager, head coach, assistant coach, and assistant general manager were all fired in December of 2021. Rick Tocchet was named head coach, and they actually announced it before they had fired their head coach.
No.
So they got a lot of backlash about how they handled the situation.
They McLaren'd him?
They McLaren'd him.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Also, we'll talk about last season. They did go in with pretty low expectations because they were still rebuilding. They finished third in their conference, though, and won the first division title since 2013.
The rebuild.
10 years later.
It might be complete. We might have made it. Judging off your face, we did not make
this
it.
season is not great for
Okay,
them.
well then extra good job because we're in a rebuild and y'all popped off like that. Kings. Icons.
They made the
divas.
playoffs, winning round 1, but ultimately losing in round 2 to the Oilers, who would make it to the finals.
Thank God it wasn't the Rangers.
Yeah.
I was like the freaking Rangers.
Yeah. No. Quinn Hughes won the James Norris Memorial Trophy. Basically the best defenseman in the league that season.
He's a Hughes. What do we expect?
Yeah.
He's a Hughes.
Tocchet won the Jack Adams Award, which is the head coach that contributes the most to the team's success.
Stop, that's so sweet. I didn't know
Mhm.
that existed.
It's because I think this is the first time I've mentioned it, actually. There's
This is
so
the
many
first time I
trophies.
remember.
And Patrick Alvin was named a finalist for General Manager of the Year.
Sweetie pies. They have really good vibes.
Yeah, JT Miller, who is also a very prominent player, is currently out for personal reasons. We don't have any further information on that or
Okay.
when he'll be back.
You have my
Connor
support.
Garland is another player on the team. I imagine he's going to have to go help Santa soon, though.
Pardon me. What?
He's just a short king.
How short are we talking?
I have no idea, but he looks very short compared
Is
to
he, like-
everyone else.
Is he like Coalfield short?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I've got it now. Let me look it up. Connor.
Connor Garland.
What is it with these C names
Like
being
like
short?
Christmas Garland, which just feeds into it all, too.
no.
And then we'll talk about Quinn Hughes, and then I'll give you 2 notes. And
Girl, he's 5'10".
Is he?
According to the internet, which means he's probably 5'9".
Is that with skates or without?
Hang on.
I never believe a man when he tells me his height. Take 2 inches off.
Anything under 6'4", you're lying.
You're lying.
Unless you're under 5'8", and then you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
What
does it say?
Wikipedia says he's 5'8". NHL.com says he's 5'10". So he's 5'9".
I'm going to say 5'7".
There's no way he's 5'7".
I'm just like, did they measure him with skates on? Because
Honey,
skates add time.
You've got to remember that he's playing with tall people.
That's true.
He might
That's
just be a
true.
normal sized person.
He's got good vibes. I'll give him that. He looks a little psycho, but I kind of like it.
I like a little psycho though. What kind of psycho? Does he play clean? He's just got like crazy energy or what?
He's just got crazy energy.
I like that. That's fine with me.
Yeah. He's helping. He's scored a good bit. Elias Pettersson is helping. Let's talk about Quinn Hughes. The oldest of the Hughes brothers was drafted in 2018. He's a defenseman, like Luke.
Oh, cutesy.
Yes. He did play 2 years at University of Michigan, the same way Luke did, before joining.
Stop. So Luke just said copy paste. He said, I want to be like my big
It's
brother.
very cute. He holds multiple franchise records, specifically for defensemen. He's honestly the backbone of the team. He won the Walter Babe Pratt Trophy, which is an internal Canucks award for the best defensive player. Yeah, he's won it every year since 2020.
How old is he?
26?
He's my age?
He's 25 or 26, I believe.
Hang on, I'll look it up. He's a Libra. That's why I immediately liked him. Every one of my big I will ride or die for athletes support
Are Libras.
are Libras. And
Yeah.
I just identify with them. Like, they have all the qualities I look for. Maybe it's a little narcissistic of me.
Maybe. Last season, he actually won the James Norris Memorial Trophy. That Norris, you're correct.
The Norrises.
Yes,
everywhere.
for the best defensive player in the NHL.
Of course he is. He's a Libra.
Yeah, he was named captain ahead of the 2023 season and the youngest captain in the NHL at the time, as well as the first American to be captain of the Canucks.
I'm not going to lie. I forgot they were American.
Yeah.
I definitely thought they were Canadians. I don't know why I thought that.
They're born in Florida, I believe.
That was wild.
But I associate them with Michigan. Maybe it's just because that's where the USA Development Program is, and their dad worked for that program for a long time as well.
You know who else is
they're
from
NHL
Florida?
brats.
Ben Shelton, my favorite tennis dude. Okay, so he is basically amazing. He is that bitch.
Mm-hmm.
He's also a Libra, so he was always going to be that bitch. And he's an older sibling.
2 more notes. So you remember how I said that one game Pavel Bure was knocked out,
Yes,
came
I
back
do.
15 minutes later, scored a game-winning goal.
I recall.
So let me let this play out for you real quick.
I'm watching.
We're tied. It's the third period. Your star player has been in the locker room getting assessed because he got knocked out, right?
I'm freaking out.
Their goaltender, Kirk McLean, has an insane save. I don't even know how to describe it to you. I will show you a video. Has an insane save. Right off of that save, Pavel Bure comes back out on the ice and scores the game-winning goal.
Stop it. That's cinema.
Yes.
I would be screaming, jumping up and down, talking extreme shit.
Yes. 15 years after that, because it's pretty widely.
That is iconic.
Specifically by Canucks fans, they refer to it as the save. Strict to the point.
I believe it.
15 years after that happened, it was voted top 40 most memorable moments in team history, and people still talk about it to this day.
I will continue to talk about it.
Beautiful.
I can't wait to watch it.
My last note, an AI machine. Actually, someone in the NHL had an AI system rank the NHL teams by attractiveness.
Oh, dear God.
And they rated the Vancouver Canucks number 1.
They're the most attractive?
Based off of this robot, yes, they are.
The way I would need them to change their jerseys to just flames because we're the hottest team in the league.
I need it on a patch.
Is
on their
it? Is there
jerseys.
merch?
Not
How
that I know
attractive
of.
is attractive?
So, I don't know if this is prohibiting me. We've talked about I like them a little ugly. I think if you're too pretty, it's hard to trust you because you probably didn't have to develop a personality. So, I don't know. And it's not to me. They're not my type. I could not mention that.
I'm not gonna lie. There's a couple of baddies in here.
We have different types. But yeah.
We do have different types.
You
but
and this
I'm
AI
just
machine might have the same type.
terrifying. Did the AI rank who was the hottest players?
No, it just did
Like, did it-
teams.
Oh, dang. Because I would love to organize each player in accordance to hotness.
It depends
Via
on
the
how many
age.
flames you get on your jersey.
Oh my
It depends
God.
on where the AI machine ranks you.
That would be so funny. That would be so freaking fun. Because what standards are we judging it off of?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know enough about Sauber to agree with your analysis of the Canucks being Sauber. But I also, at this time, cannot formulate a better... I'm trying to think IndyCar.
Also, Sauber's going through a rebuild currently, about to be taken over by Audi.
Thank God. The bar can't get any
So-
worse.
That could contribute to the rebuild of it all. I don't know. They're a hard one to pin down.
It seems like they've got it, like they're moving in the right direction. They've got really good individuals. Like they're handing out
Yeah.
trophies like crazy to these guys.
Yeah. They've
and
got
recently.
great individuals.
Anyways, I like them. I don't like the Anaheim Ducks. I don't think they know what's going on. Free my man Trevor. I've been shut up. That's all for now. Thanks for joining us on episode 9 of Two Girls Chirping. We will see you next week. And whenever this episode is released, happy holidays, because it's officially holiday season.
Yes.
Even though it's 70 degrees in Alabama still.
Even though our Christmas tree's been up for about a week now.
That was preventative seasonal depression care and
it was.
vital.
It's true. It worked, I will say.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.